You know, everybody's a DJ, but not everybody loves music. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Music Show, brought to you by DJ Event Planner. Check them out, as well as some of our other sponsors, down in the description of this video on YouTube. I had several conversations in here after hours with DJs, and I'll mention a song that I just like. And the response will be, well, I'd never use it though. So I like the song. One thing has nothing to do with the other. I think a lot of DJs are just kind of looking for things that they can put in their sets, which is cool. You need to do that. But isn't it odd that a profession that has so much to do with music, there are so many people who just don't seem to be as into music as others? What do you think? You agree with that assessment?
100%.
Yeah. Sure.
You don't like cars. I have a difficult time understanding how you're a successful mechanic. But I know a lot of DJs who make money and they genuinely aren't that into music. Like, they won't talk to you about music. Like, oh, I heard this track today, I Shazammed it. It's like, yeah, I don't Shazam anything. You're a DJ. You got to keep up on music and get some new vibes and find something new and exciting that you can play, and then find something else. And like, I just play the same stuff. I got like 2,000 songs, the top 200 dance, the top 100 cocktail and dinner. You know, there's an organization right now that's more or less arguing you don't need to carry 100,000 songs if you know how to create segments of music where everything's perfect. Well, I say that's BS. Today, I played for 8 straight hours. I didn't play one song that I've ever played at an event before today.
Well, you're doing the Vegas thing right now.
And I was doing all deep house and stuff. Yeah. Oh, I take that back. I played 3 songs, now that I think of it. Like Fisher, Call on Me, and something else. I didn't even play Alice DJ today, but I was trying to get a vibe going, and I dug into my hard drive and said, ooh, I have like 700 deep house tracks. Let's see what we can go through. And I proceeded to just play through the tracks. And it went very well. I got a lot of compliments. People were happy. But I was prepared for anything. And I think it's because you are willing to go either purchase music or like music enough to expose yourself to it. So I think ultimately, if you're a DJ, you should probably like the music.
I mean, I have no doubt that ingesting a lot of different types of music is going to make your performance better. But if we were just to take the DJ hat off for a minute, what about a song that you would never play at a gig, but you just like? I mean, there are some people who have no concept of this. They're just tools for work.
It makes no sense.
For me, they're tools for life. I mean,
100%. Music is life. 24/7, 365. End of subject. There's never a bad moment there are tracks driving here to Vegas. There are songs I listen to that I've never played at a gig. Ever, ever, ever. Why? Because I enjoy listening to them on a lonely freeway driving through the desert. And I'm like, this is perfect.
It's having
this is exactly what I have to hear. I'm driving at 90 miles an hour, grabbing my phone, going, oh, I don't have that on my phone. Go to YouTube.
There's this
go anywhere and find it. I need to hear this song right now because it's the perfect song for this moment.
There's this guy named Mike Skinner over in the UK, and he calls himself The Streets. And he did this kind of hip hop garage, whatever album, I don't know, over 20 years ago. And when I heard it, it spoke to me. And it's not my thing. I mean, it's not what I would normally gravitate towards, but I loved it. I thought it was raw and honest and creative and interesting. And I genuinely love listening to it. And I played it for somebody recently, and they're like, I don't think anybody would like that. I'm like, who cares? I like it.
It's not a popularity contest.
I shared something of myself with you, and now you're taking it and saying, yeah, but no. If you don't like it, that's fine if you don't like it. But how about an opinion of what you think, not what you think others are going to think? And maybe I'm weird, because I don't care what anybody thinks of me.
Well, be careful sharing to the point where it hurts you. Like those glamour photos, I thought you looked handsome, but I could see others thinking, oh, that's a little risque. But with music, you're trying to show people this might hit you the same way. John and everyone in this room that's seen my Twitch set, I played a track today, very beginning, before I started, Friends of Dean Martinez, Wichita Lineman, and all instrumental. And I had about 9 people walk by and just look at me like, okay, this is not what I expected, but this is cool. And of the 9, probably 3 circled back to go, okay, this is killing me. Who is this? I go, it's the Friends of Dean Martinez. I go, it's the soundtrack for a documentary about the Salton Sea, the largest body of water in California, narrated by John Waters. And like, if you have any sense of what's going on in the world, your head would be exploding right now. And they're like, I've never heard this before. I go, do you like it?
Right.
I love it. I go, that's the problem with life. We're never going to live long enough.
That's the problem. You can't dance.
It didn't have a beat. But we're never going to live long enough.
What would you mix in with it? I don't think so.
I would have put
What's
Prince
wrong with
it.
people?
It's because they don't, Brian, they don't look at it from the perspective of music is enjoyment. It's not just
it's supposed
work.
to be pleasure. It's, exactly.
100%.
And it's not everyone is supposed to like what you like. It's okay to.
I'm proud to have seen Barry Manilow. I knew every song he played. I loved it. I've also seen Slayer, and I knew every song they played. Do you remember can live.
Do you remember the conversation we had last night?
Yeah.
About
Barry Manilow and what he said, same as your sisters. Yes.
Right. Well, you can go back and watch that video. It was part of the Monday night hanging session.
You've seen it in like a year.
Yeah, you'll see it. Or maybe you saw it last year. We don't, but it was for us, it was last night. And I said pretty much exactly the same thing in the video that I posted before we did the show on my YouTube channel. And one of the comments that I got today was, if you like Barry Manilow, you should lie about it. And I understand that was supposed to be humorous.
What?
But yeah, I'm thinking to myself, do people really care that much about what other people think of their tastes and their likes and dislikes? I mean, it could be a joke. But on the other hand, it could be maybe people really want to fit in that bad with what people
what are they
say
fitting
they like
in
and
with?
don't like. I don't know.
By the way, to the commenter, I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada, and there's a ton of great DJs in Las Vegas, Nevada. But they brought me here to do the gig, and I love Barry Manilow.
Yeah, so there.
It's a guilty pleasure.
It shouldn't have any it shouldn't, like, I mean, we're going to, this sounds like the 1920s or 30s, like judging people on things that they shouldn't be judged on.
Right.
What, you like this music? I mean, I learned very quickly, my kids like music that sometimes I don't. Yeah, and I give them the benefit of the doubt. And I go, just like Brian started the show with, why? I just go deeper though. I go, why do you like this? Do you like it because your friends like it? Or do you like it because it speaks to you?
I want to address that, but before I do that, I want to go to the other folks here and let them get a word in edgewise.
Yeah, how do these guys get in my room?
I don't know. They're just here.
It's a Dean Martin quote, because I'm in Las Vegas, everybody. I don't know if I mentioned
Do any of you gentlemen have any thoughts on this?
Yes, I do. No, just
I would find it takes a lot of time to listen to all the music. Like if you hear a song you like, chances are there's more from the artist or there's more on that LP if you have time to do it. Perfect example, I remember when I bought Fatboy Slim because I had to have the song Praise You. And I would pull out the CD and I would play that song and then I'd put the CD away because that was the hit. I'd pull up. But it was probably a year or better before I actually got a chance to actually play through the whole record and hear the rest of it.
You about Moby?
I like Moby.
I thought that's what you are.
No, he said Fatboy Slim.
Fatboy Slim. I'm sorry. Yeah.
The Praise You track.
I know I like a lot of
it,
but I just didn't have time to listen to the rest of it. Now you go back and listen and say, oh, there's so much on here I could have been playing for the whole year. And that's how now that you get things more like single serving. You don't necessarily get complete LPs, but you'll get a compilation. Compilations is another one that I'm guilty of. You play 2 songs on this compilation, you don't listen to the other 18 for however long until you have to play a segment or a set of that, and you're like, oh, I have all this. And you play through them. Some you like, some you don't. But now you know they exist.
The interesting thing about compilations, John, I always thought the people who program these things, if they're done well, they're brilliant. Like, if you like this, you might like this too, and you might like this too. They're so smart. I mean, not all of them.
I've got a best of
Most
disco
of
that
them.
has Sticks as the last song on the LP, but I think that
Well,
you have to take
sometimes-
Sticks if you want to get the rest of it.
Right. So. Yeah, you got to give a little to get a little. But for the most part, some of the nows from the UK or some of the collections of different types of, stuff that I've gotten from over there, it's absolutely amazing, the kind of stuff that I'm discovering that, well, if you like this, you probably dig this too. The programmers my hat's off to them. So many of them. Yeah, of course there's bad ones, but I think there's some really good ones as well.
Do you think that stays with you? Because you made me think of something. I grew up on the K-Tel, whatever their name was, albums.
Ronco,
so I was exposed to
Columbia
Andy
House.
Gibb and Steely Dan and Jay Ferguson and
maybe you wouldn't have otherwise been exposed to
Tony
them.
Orlando and Don, whoever was on that album. So I just assumed that you ingest music with all different types.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't programming as much as here's who we're putting out. But at my very young, 5th, 6th grade age, that's how music came to me. It came either Elton John, all Elton John on one album, or I get this mix of other songs and I have Meatloaf and I have Steely Dan and I have Andy Gibb and I have this one and that one. I just thought it was great because it exposed me to 20 or 10, 15 different things that I could run down roads with.
It was probably less tribal back then. Eric, you had some thoughts too.
I did. I mean, there are songs like you were saying that you like and you wouldn't play them at a gig. And I've got several. I'm not going to give you all of them, but like one.
We've talked, yeah.
One, for instance, is Phoebe Snow. No, Phoebe.
Poetry Man?
Yes, Poetry Man,
Phoebe Snow. Yeah, great song.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I might maybe throw that at dinner.
Sure.
But I never have. But I something about that song that always, every time
Great
I
song.
hear it, I'm like, wow, this is her voice, what it is, the music. I liked it, And there's a lot of Randy Travis that I love. And don't judge me. We're not here to judge.
No one's judging.
Don't judge me in this box.
Yeah.
It's To Be Honest in that box.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, here comes To Be Honest, yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, I love Randy Travis. Do I play him in a gig? Yeah, it's probably one or two tracks of him that I play in a gig. Forever and Ever, Amen, which is great at weddings, and maybe Digging Up Bones, something else. I mean,
that's all I got for Randy Travis, by the way.
Right. But I can give you 100 more by him.
Sure, because you like him.
I mean, right. That's our point here, right? And would you, who brought up K-Tel? Jay or?
Jay, yeah. Well,
there's one song on a K-Tel album that I bought the K-Tel album just for the song because it's not available anywhere else.
Right.
Bobby Bear, and it's a song called Numbers. And it's about a guy who grades women on a scale of 1 to 10. And the moral of the story is there ain't no 10 at the end of the song. Great song. I would not play that at a gig, but
you dig it.
It goes along with what you're saying,
You dig it.
Yeah.
To go back to what Jay was saying earlier, I thought it was. I made a mental note because I knew he was going to riff, but I wanted to address what he said. John and I were having a conversation last night. Jay, you and I have had this conversation before.
Yep.
About Electric Light Orchestra.
Yeah, great band.
Where I was telling John that they were Jeff Lynne was trying to pick up where the Beatles left off. And if you listen to the first half of ELO's career, it all sounds like the Magical Mystery Tour album. It all sounds like I Am a Walrus.
Yes. That's a good note on that.
And you had told me I'll never hear ELO the same again because now you hear.
Well, because it gets in your head. Yeah, 100%.
But why do you like it? Well, maybe you like it because you like Beatles.
Right.
I had the same thing for years. Well, I don't know, maybe 10 years, not even. With Stevie Nicks' Stand Back. I like Stevie Nicks, but I really like that song. And I didn't know why. So why do I like it? Well, it turns out it's a Prince song. And I really like Prince. So that's why because you had said, why do we like what we like? It's interesting to dig into that whole thing too.
Oh, 100%. By the way, audience, you're about to see something that we've never done on the show before. We've had talks off air, and Brian and I have butted heads more than once about what I'm about to say, and I would like Brian's response. Okay. Brian, would you therefore not think that sometimes it's about a memory you may have with a song?
Well, yeah, of course we associate music with things, but
that's how I am with Supertramp Logical Song. I'm sitting in a 68 Plymouth Belvedere 2 in the backyard towards the garage, and that song comes on from WBCN on the radio, and it's a stamp in my head I cannot get rid of. Every time that song comes on, I am brought back to that moment.
Well, okay, so let me give you an example. Just one example.
This is Water.
Yeah, sure it is. When I'm in a shop, I've told you all that
Yacht Rock
on the radio is Yacht Rock.
Yep.
Because there's a couple of reasons for this. One reason is because you can't get angry listening to England Dan and John Ford Coley or a nice Kenny Loggins song. You're not going to throw a wrench through the windshield. Another reason is because Mom likes it. And if the music's on, Mom will come hang in the shop with me, and I like that.
And it keeps Dan under control. Let's be blunt. Keeps Dan a little chill.
My brother? Oh, yeah. As soon as we turn our back, he'll put on like Nugent.
Right. Yeah. That's why it keeps him. And
then Mom won't come into the garage.
See, there's an outcome.
Yeah. So there's a third reason that I have not told you about. And it's
pen and paper. Personal. I need a pen and paper. Where's my assistant?
It's deeply personal. My father bought that car in 1978 when we lived in California.
Boom. San Dimas.
The music was, a lot of the music that I'm listening to was popular at that time. So in that regard, yes. However, I will tell you this.
Oh, he skates. Okay, he gets out of it.
No, I'm not skating. I'm not skating.
No, you're getting out of what I said. No,
I'm still in your pocket.
I knew you had it.
I'm still in your pocket.
Okay.
What I will say is that initially, yes, it was kind of about a memory or remembering and remembrance of. Yes. Today, when I hear these songs, I smell the shop. It's a new thing.
But see, you've okay, and I totally understand.
You know what I mean?
You've transitioned it.
Yeah.
It's still, and it's not an argument that we've had, but we've had a little disagreement on you're thinking on the memory in this song thing. But it's like, because that's the beauty.
You're just horny for memories. That's all.
It's insane. But I'm infamously, which my family has always not been a fan of, living in the past on stuff. Oh, remember this day we did and this and this and this. But music is there's always a playlist for everything you do.
Yeah.
And going back to the genesis of this topic tonight, I feel bad for anyone that doesn't open up to the fact that they can have a quiet moment in the corner when no one is judging them, no one is around them, and get into Barry Manilow or whatever they want to get into and just enjoy what it does. Music is the greatest thing that I think has ever been created. It will not hurt you. It will not kill you. It will keep you alive sometimes. It will keep others alive. I mean,
would association qualify as memory?
The band, the association?
No, not the band. But I'm just saying, if you associate a certain type of music with something, would that qualify as memory? I think it.
Yeah, if you were into headbanging and you want to hear Metallica and you go, this reminds me of when I was 18, sure.
Well, okay, so I went through, and for me, and I know John and Jay will look at me like, what do you mean phase? I went through a metal phase, and it lasted for a few years.
I was going to say weeks, but okay.
It will last for a few years. I mean, it was, I could show you.
Even that surprised.
What Prince album did you think was metal?
No, I was like buying Accept and Yngwie Malmsteen and.
Okay, that's excellent. Okay, that's what we like to hear.
I was there. I was there, yes. Dawkins and whatever.
Little Megadeth, you know.
Yeah, I had
to have it.
Who's buying? I attended several concerts that would probably blow your mind. I saw Metallica live opening for Ozzy. I mean, I was there for that.
Oh,
he wanted to go see that. Yes. So I remember
By
being
Dead Mouse. Oh,
yes. And I remember my first junior high school dance, which I was kicked out of, by the way.
little weed.
That's another story. I'll tell you another time. But anyway, I went to the second one. But the first one, I remember looking into the gymnasium and being so jealous that I couldn't be in there. And I watched the girls with the smiles on their faces, dressed in their cute little dresses for the dance, dancing to Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. And I thought to myself, maybe if you can't beat him, you should join him. And I was done with my metal phase. And I brought it into my heart that, yeah, it's okay to like Wham because I really do like that song. And I love everything she wants. And I really do enjoy this Prince
That's
stuff.
a good
And
track,
I really
yeah.
do enjoy a lot of this cool top, all this stuff that's going on right now. I've always liked it, but I've been rejecting it because I was tribal about it.
Yeah.
I was the metal tribe.
I can see that.
I'm not that anymore.
No, I
There's no
can
sense
see
in liking
that.
both. You can always like both.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I started to do. Yeah.
Two different associations of people. If you want to be,
We had girls in the club. There was
Wham,
3 of
you know?
them sometimes at a Metallica show.
It wasn't
Sometimes
that
4 of them.
I didn't throw away my metal and I didn't reject it. And I was playing it. That's what I was playing at the time. And eventually moved
Steve, I had no girls at all. No.
I moved on to bass. I mean, because most of the music I was really starting to enjoy was more about that than guitar.
It's all about the bass, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, no trouble.
Thank you, Mr. Trainer. Thank you.
Anyway, I thought I'd share that. So yeah, like John said, it's very possible to like both, but I think there was a point in time, like the guy said, lie about liking Barry Manilow. This guy's tribal.
But let me ask you this, and it's same
Here's that
topic,
word again.
little turn.
Yeah.
I'm not, and if this upsets anyone, whatever. I'm not a huge reggae fan. There's like 5 or 6 reggae songs that I like, but as a genre, I'm not on board. I don't
dig that.
I don't get the mellowness of it. I don't get the vibe of it. It's just, I've played it. I've done reggae, cocktail, dinner, whatever. But I do understand one thing. I was driving down to the beach about 5-6 years ago, and I had just gotten my Common Sense, which is a CD I bought from Amazon to get a couple tracks, but it's very reggae. The sun's shining. It's like 80 degrees out. And I was like, oh, I've got this stuff on this drive. Let me plug it into the radio. And I proceeded to play reggae for the next hour, driving around, going to get a drink and food with the family, this and that, because it was a hot, sunny day and reggae fit.
Yeah.
Now, at 11 o'clock at night, and I've famously told this story of my 78 Aspen wagon, I had a cassette tape for Traffic, Low Spark of High Heel Boys, and Steely Dan Royal Scam. And if it was raining, the windshield wipers would literally sink with the track. And I'd end up on these, like, I was supposed to be home 20 minutes ago, and I'm still driving around in the rain because it's a moment.
Yep.
But there's music, I love Typo Negative. I've never gone down to the beach and been like, hand me my Christian Woman CD. I need to put Bloody Kisses on now because this is going to speak to where I am in the sand. I think music is timely in that respect. It's now nighttime in Vegas. The back of my head, I hear Dunkashane and I hear some Dean Martin, and then now I'm hearing a little Deep House. But I didn't hear that at 9 a.m. this morning.
Do you know what I think about when I think about music in Vegas? Betty LeGrand let me think about it, and I'll tell you why. Because that night we were in the Cabana, the big party, that I'd heard that song for the first time.
Yes,
somebody
100%.
played it at the Riviera. So that's what I associate with Vegas.
Well, and you got to do Chucky. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Well, Eric had said something earlier that I thought was interesting, and this all kind of, I wouldn't look at Eric and say, yeah, I know Eric, and I wouldn't say, yeah, he's a country fan, but he digs Randy Travis.
Yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere. But I don't judge that and laugh or anything else, because I'm like, music is not to be judged, nor is it to be laughed at. He could like the Vienna Boys Choir for all I care. It's what makes him feel good.
I could say that in general, I don't enjoy country as a genre, but I cherry pick country songs that I like. And I think Eric probably does the same thing.
Yeah. Randy's got a beautiful voice.
You guys hit something tonight. You guys hit something tonight that hit me right now, and I didn't realize it, was when Jay said, "Do you think that you like something because it brings up a memory?"
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. And I immediately went to this, and every time I hear this song, I immediately think of this moment. I was sitting in my living room listening to the countdown many years ago, and I wouldn't have missed it for the world. Ronnie Millsap was like number 5.
I remember that track, yeah.
And it was snowing out, and I'm looking out the window, listening to this, and I fell in love with the song. I'm so,
Mm-hmm.
Now I got to go and Google, because it had to have been a winter month this was released, because it was snowing, unless it was that April Fool's Day. Remember that one we all got snowed on? But I remember the snow coming down, and I'm listening to this. I wouldn't have missed it for the world, and I fell in love with that song. I was alone, I'm just staring out the window. So yeah, like I believe in what you guys are saying. Like it could be attached to a memory,
Sure. If you hear the song and you close your eyes and you see snow falling, you're
memory and association.
Well, Brian knows this, and I think I've mentioned it in front of John. I may not have mentioned it in front of all of you. Starting when I first met Brian got me into all different types of tracks, which was great. And we have this thing about Lola's Theme by Shapeshifters. Right. Brian turned me on to it. It became my favorite song, yada, yada, yada. And I did play it today. And God is my witness, I thought of Brian, because every time I've ever heard it, I go back to, where did this song come from? Oh, it came from Brian. Well, in July of 2009, Promo Only put out a CD that had Deadmau5, I Remember, and with Cascade, and Deadmau5 Cascade, Move For Me, along with, she was in Destiny's Child.
Oh, not Kelly one.
No, the other one. Michelle Williams had a song called Break the Dawn. Yeah, it was one of the best CDs like that Promo Only ever put out. Like I remember the CD and the year and the month. And Deadmau5, I Remember, became my favorite EDM track of all time. I've told Joel Deadmau5, I've told Cascade. Mm-hmm. They both smiled and shook their head and said, "Wow, thank you." And I'm like, "No, I can explain why." Every time I travel, I carry a little MP3 player or my phone. And when I'm traveling, at some point, I don't make myself listen to it, but I inevitably do listen to that song.
Right.
Because I want to have, every time I hear it, I want all the memories to come flooding back. Like when I was in Japan, when I was in New York, when I met Brian, when I was in LA, when I was in Vegas. And I do it kind of systematically because I think you can sort of cultivate things with music. You can make a memory grow if there's a soundtrack. I drove to Las Vegas in 1995 in the rain and had a cassette of Calling Elvis by Dire Straits. And I put it in. And I ended up hearing a song called Planet New Orleans for the first time. It's an amazing song. 7 minutes long. It is gorgeous. Beautiful music. I went to Vegas alone. I gambled a little. I stayed in a cheap hotel and I came home the next day, but I made about $200, which back then was good. Every single time I've ever gone to Las Vegas, every single time. And I come to Vegas 6 to 8 times a year. I always drive. Well, guess what? Outside of Deadmau5, there's Planet New Orleans.
Yeah.
I hear it when I come into Vegas. I don't win $1 billion. I'm never going to get rich here. But you know what? It's become a almost 30-year-old tradition. And it makes me feel good. And it makes me excited. And I'm alone in a car driving. And that's what music is supposed to do. It's supposed to make you happy on whatever level you want happiness, even if it's punk, even if it's thrash, even if it's garage or hard techno or whatever. Classical. If you enjoy it, but understand the joy that we have as DJs. Stop for a moment and realize you don't press play. You don't show up and just go, "Hey, everyone, I want to introduce the bride and groom," and blah, blah, blah. You get to make these memories for the family. You get to make these memories for their relatives and the guests at the wedding or the party or the bar mitzvah. You know how much power that is? how many things in the normal world do they create memories with in a job? What do you do? Oh, I'm a bank teller, not making a memory. What do you do? I'm, an accountant. Well, you might make a memory that I didn't go to court.
Well,
We're DJs. We get to do this to every single song we choose. I think that.
I think the reason I pick on you so much about that is because you punctuate it a lot when you talk about songs and things. It's cool. I do it too. I think we all do it. We have to.
I got a big thing up here talking with the music thing. You know what I'm saying? With the thing.
I would bet we were all music nuts before we were DJs. Like
hell yeah,
absolutely.
So we kind of had it in our DNA. We collected 45s before we did it professionally. We did it because we liked the music. We wanted to have those at our disposal. There was no internet. I mean, all you had what was on the radio, and if they weren't playing the song you wanted, you called up and asked for it.
Well, I'm the weirdo, John. And I'm listening to you, and I want you to keep talking. But I'm the weirdo who felt like I should be a DJ because I was into music. Mm-hmm. Not just, okay, I'm a DJ, maybe I should get into music. And I think that's what's happened more often than not anymore. Just from what I'm seeing, it's more about the technical aspect of it as far as a mixing technique or a piece of equipment or something, or a look at me thing. I felt like this was the way to go because of who I was and my love of music, not just because. Does that make sense?
It does. The love of music had to come first. Or we bought Off the Wall. We bought Metallica's first album. We bought Diana Ross. We bought soundtrack to Grease. We had this. We liked everything. We were like little musical sponges. We just soaked it all in. Genre wasn't really such a big thing for separation or tribalism, like you called it earlier. It's like we listened to everything, and everything was okay. But
by the way, this is the truth. I got Kill 'Em All on cassette within the same week as I got the best of Sly and the Family Stone, because I love Everybody Is a Star so much that I saw the cassette and bought it because I knew I had to have that song I'd heard on the radio. So I ended up with Metallica and Sly and the Family Stone within 1 week of each other. And you can't say I don't love either one more or less than the other.
I remember buying the brand new Duran Duran Notorious, and at the same time, I bought the best of BTO. So I totally get it.
There you go. Yeah, total juxtaposition.
Strange Bedfellows, right?
100%.
What can I add something? It's like putting together a list of stuff that you want to go out and DJ with, right? And I'm that guy that, and I hate to say this, but I'm like, okay, I'll start with this. I'll start with that. And then I'm looking at something else. I'm like, well, somebody might request that. And I don't want to be that guy to say I don't have it, or have to run to Spotify to play it or whatever. So eventually I ended up dumping everything I have and I take it with me everywhere I go because I want to have it with me everywhere I go. Because you don't know when somebody's going to hit you with this off the wall Randy Travis song, per se, or
if you have the opportunity to play it,
right?
But haven't you had that happen, Eric? I certainly have. Famously, a few years ago, I had a bride in dinner come up from the head table and go, "Hey, I forgot to tell you, Gary, my husband, believe it or not, he loves Slayer." I mean, if you could play like 10 seconds of a Slayer song, I think he'd be happy. I played 2 Slayer songs. I did play them by Vitamin Strings, and there were no words. And when Gary realized it was Slayer, he threw the horns up in the air along with like 8 of his buddies in the room. And when I played Raining Blood and Angel of Death, and they were thrilled. And he came up and he goes, "Dude, you have no idea. I didn't play the actual song, but I gave him something that made his night."
Yeah.
Right.
That's what we do. We create those memories.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, no. Again, this is where you're saying create the memory, and I'm suggesting, that's great, but the moment is cool too.
The moment was special.
Everything. The moment is everything.
The moment's everything till 20 years.
You can go back and reflect on it,
right? But that's called a memory to me. The moment becomes a memory the second you walk away from
But the moment's supposed to be cool. You're not.
The moment is
I can't
everything.
wait for this to be over so it can be a memory and I can think.
How many
about it.
weddings have you
No,
done,
I'm
Brian?
enjoying the moment.
How many weddings or events have you done where someone looks at you and I guarantee we've all had this. Hey man, great job tonight. Love what you're playing. Hey, how long you known the bride and groom? You like been friends for a long time? No, I've actually only met them once. Are you serious? Yeah, why? Well, no, they're like high-fiving each other. They're looking at you. They're giving you a thumbs up. Like, they're so happy with what you're doing. I thought you guys were friends. And it's like, I guess I'm just really good at my job.
I like what I just said. I think it's, I don't know how else to explain it. Eric got it.
That was funny.
But it's true. I can't wait for this great moment to be over so I can think of it as a memory. Yeah. No, you want to live in the moment.
But it's true.
Well, you know what, Brian? To famously quote Johnny Thunders, sadly, you can't put your arms around a memory.
Oh, I thought you were going to say me.
No, Johnny Thunders, the song that if Howie was around, I'd play for him. It's a Johnny Thunders / New York Dolls type song called You Can't Put Your Arms Around a Memory because it's a moment. Because Johnny Thunders on heroin apparently thought like Brian does. I don't know. It's just like moment, memory.
To think about that kind of stuff.
I don't think so, but
maybe. Who knows?
No, it's music has to be at the forefront because when this thing shuts off, when we all go to bed, there's always going to be music. When we wake up, there's always music. I
just wanted to pop in. Damon just popped in. Welcome. We are recording a show right now, but when we're done, we'll let you know. And yeah, camera's on. But that's why we're kind of hyper focused on our conversation right now. But you're welcome to hang and listen. So anyway, that's that. Cool. Have we beat that horse enough?
I think so.
I think this was a great topic. I loved it. I really did like this show tonight. Not that I don't like the other ones, but this one really touched me in a couple different ways. Personally, you know, like
that's awesome.
Yeah,
and let's be blunt. Keeping Eric on our good side is probably a thing we should consider because I know he has a trunk of a car that's probably big enough to throw all three of us in. He's got. Oh, please! You don't think there's a 60 like a
Kevin,
73?
I need to back up.
Yeah,
Kevin, I need.
You don't think there's a 73 Monte Carlo with a shovel that's lined with plastic from the behind him? Where do you think that plastic goes every weekend? In the trunk of the car. We didn't learn from the wise guys. Come on. Exactly. Yeah. That's what the lie is for. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
I learned that from John, the Quarries.
I don't want this to sound wrong. I mean, if you're not really into it, that's fine too. It's just odd when I make a suggestion of, or I turn someone onto something that I think is cool, and they look at me like, "Well, I would never play that at a gig," and I'm like, "Well, can't you take your DJ hat off?"
Right. Yeah. You don't need to play at a gig.
Yeah, but do you think professionally they view you as talking to them as a DJ?
I don't know. I mean, I'm talking about
because that would make sense. If you bring a topic up, they're going to answer you on Facebook or wherever. Perhaps. As a DJ, maybe they're not answering you as, hey, this isn't from BSR, the DJ. This is just in life. Are there artists or songs you love that you can't play?
Maybe I'm having a hard time articulating this properly. I guess what I'm saying is that it's okay if you're not really into it, but it's weird when you can't even comprehend that I might like something, even if I never play it at a performance.
There you go. Right. That's it. Yeah.
That makes it not work related. It's something you like for the sake of liking it because like it's not Brian.
Yeah. It's like beyond their comprehension that I would even mention this because I can't beat mix it with something else or whatever.
We mix everything.
That's weird. That's bizarre.
No,
I agree.
That was well said right there.
I hope it was.
No, that was perfect.
To work with music, you would think that you would just have a general interest or love of it to want to do it. You think the guy that builds banks loves concrete? I mean, no, that's just the tool of his job. That's what he needs to build a bank.
Yeah.
You know, our end product is memories. It's
they want the end result. Most jobs want the end result. Most jobs are planning on the end of it. And we are too, to a certain extent, where we want the end of the night to be,
so you can have
God, looking back, this was great. This is an amazing memory because the moments were so good.
Yeah.
But I think we understand that it doesn't stop or end. Somebody pouring concrete, when the building is built, they go to the next project.
Yeah, they don't think back about the
at
bank.
the end of the wedding, we get in the car and we now continue with that music thing. Or talk radio, as I do oftentimes, because I've had enough music that night. You know, it just depends.
Yeah, and don't make fun of me because I can't smile without you, okay? I'm me.
By the way, Eric, if you like Phoebe Snow, Poetry
that
Man,
feeling.
can I suggest Janice Ian, 17, and Maria Mulder,
Midnight at the Oasis.
Midnight at the Oasis.
Oh my God, they're both great tracks.
I believe they are, sir.
That's
Yes.
a weird
Great
track.
songs, right?
I like
Which one?
Yeah.
Midnight at the Oasis.
You know what's
I
weird
love
about
that.
it is?
Yes.
The cadence she sings it in is bizarre.
It's bizarre, but the music,
I like
like musically, if you heard it as an instrumental, it's like a jazz track.
It is.
They're like doing key changes. They're not doing timing changes, but key changes in it. And, you know, this is back when music had people playing it that like were really talented.
Right.
They weren't just on a 4x4 beat.
track. She's just an odd choice to sing it. I remember someone remade it, and it was Edie Brickell or Cranberries, or I don't know.
It might have been Edie.
But
Edie makes the most sense.
it just didn't have the same soul to it.
Yeah,
She brought that soul to the track. Like
100%.
the heart
She
and
made it
soul
her
of the track
song.
is her. The music's beautiful, but her voice with it was just an odd choice. I
You
thought.
know, Brian, make a mental note. Let's have a show topic some night about how artists used to make a song theirs, and now artists give us songs, i.e., the new Beyonce, like Southern country, Texas Hold'em thing.
Well,
that's a song performed by an artist. It's not her song.
It's lip service.
Right. Versus a Maria Mulder made a song that we can talk about
Yeah.
50 years later.
Not
and
everyone
say,
loved it, but it spoke to
but
someone.
it's her song.
Yeah.
Terry, was it Terry Reeves? Seasons in the Sun?
I think it's
Terry
AI.
Jacks.
Terry Jacks, Season in the Sun. There
Oh
were
my
people
God.
that made, you know, Bobby Gentry, you think?
Oh, Billy Joel. Or,
She made that her own.
Yeah.
I'd even go so far as to say, you know, actors. Sir Richard Harris made MacArthur Park his own, written by famously the great Jimmy Webb. Yes, Barry Manilow did it. Yes, Donna Summer did it.
Yeah.
But are they anywhere near as good as Richard Harris's version?
I'm a Donna Summer
No.
guy.
Yeah, Richard Harris.
Better
is
than
kinda
Richard
weird.
Harris?
That was
I think
strange.
not, sir.
Yeah, I like Donna.
You
But I
can
never
like
really
it.
liked the song a lot. But if I had
I loved it, but I had it on vinyl and it was my parents' album. And it was, you know, I was probably 6. And I remember dropping the needle and being like, oh, when I put this here, I have this stuff come out. This is great.
I remember the song making my mother angry because she's like, "What the hell are you talking about cakes? I don't get it." I'm like, "This it's metaphorical."
Sometimes it's a metaphorical thing.
But it's stupid.
Jimmy
I'm like,
Webb.
don't listen to it. Just
You can't bake that cake.
you know what?
Left it out in the rain.
If you need to test your ability to like music, listen to Glenn Campbell, Wichita Lineman. Under 3 minutes, very basic, very simple, very direct, very to the point. And if that doesn't do it, grab Leon Russell's This Song's For You and listen clearly to the words, listen to the whole, you know, sumptuous of the chording and everything about it. And, you know, if you don't feel anything, then guess what? You can be a DJ and not into music, and you're what we call AI, and you need to be destroyed. Okay, there I said it. Okay,
right now. I bet you that Wichita Lineman has been mentioned 2 more times in this video than most any other video made on YouTube.
Well, because Jay played it.
One of the greatest songs ever. Again, Jimmy Webb wrote it. The great Glenn Campbell, one of the greatest guitar players of all time. Let's not even go down Wrecking Crew Road, but we could. And it's just when you talk about a pop song, I mean, amazing. Freaking
Not to
amazing.
get all Jerry Springer on you here, but any final thoughts?
I know. I forgot to bring the big fan behind me in the window. Anybody else?
You get the smell of death out of that Chevy you're driving? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Well, in that,
I think everybody hit everything right on the nail.
it's a thought. We got to do this every week, so we got to keep coming up with.
I love it. I love tonight. I thought it was great. Perfect.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Eric.
Everybody.
See you